Okay, so looking through the Bootstrap website, I think one of the best ways I can lay out each object like we had on our PowerPoint slide here, so that we've got review objects, is let's close that, something called cards. And I just thought that might be interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a card like this, where I'm going to have, let's say, 3 or 4 in one row, and then, you know, it sort of just populates the web page based on how many reviews there are. So I'm going to borrow that, and I'm going to put that, copy that, that's the code for this particular card, and I'm going to stick that into, let's close the base now, we don't need that, into our home page. And I do need to do this better, I will fix this, but I'm just going to stick that there for now, and let's put that tab in. Okay, and let's just have a look at what it looks like now. So I'll go back to here, refresh, and I've got my first card. It's got no picture yet. Okay, so I need to start doing things like including spaces and sort of bringing stuff down a bit, but that's fine. So it looks like I can maybe fit 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 before it starts another row. Okay, but now I can't do any more of that, so I'm going to have to freeze the HTML side of things, and then now we're going to have to start looking at the actual information that we're going to bring into when we're doing our reviews. So this bit's very open, and I'm just going to create a really basic one, and obviously whatever your project's going to be, you can sort of just base it on this, and or you know, this can give you an idea. But what this brings us to now is creating models. Okay, so inside the reviews app, you can see that we've got a models file. Now what we really want here is we want to think about what a model is and what it contains. Yeah, so a model is basically a class. Okay, so basically in Python terms it's a class, but what it does is it takes that, and it takes the information that we store in each one, and it saves it as a record in a database. So I'm gonna say, let's create a class, and you know, I haven't really thought this through, so maybe I should. I'm gonna say class, and we're gonna call this class reviews, and models.model. Okay, and then I'm going to start by saying let's have an author. So let's say author equals from the models, this is going to be a character field, so, and a person's name, so for example that could be me or you. Person's name, max length, let's say equals 100 characters. Now we could say film, so film being reviewed, or let's call it film title, or you know what, for short, so we don't make all our variables long. Let's just call it title equals models dot car field, and again let's say max length of a title, let's say is 255 characters. I don't know. We could do a publish date, so say publish date of the particular review, models, and I'm only doing this so we can play about with different sort of different types of data type. Let's have an image. Okay, so we could have an image for our film image. Again, we'll use the models, and we want an image field, and this bit we're gonna have to do some changes or add some new things. I mean, so we're gonna say upload to equals images. So we need to create a static folder where these images are going to be uploaded to / and then what we need is, let's have body, and in the body it would be the review. So models, again this will be a character field, so we're going to say models dot char field, and actually, you know what, let's make this one text field. Text field, there we are. That should be a capital F. Okay, right, and then what we do is we do this. So we say, and I'll explain this in a second as well. So if you remember when we studied classes in class in school, return self dot title. So this kind of it will make sense in a bit. I'll explain what this means later. I'll comment it out later and you'll see what the difference is. Okay, so now what I've done is I've created a table. Okay, so this class here is like a database table, and our website is going to use this, and we're going to process this data every time we create a new review. So what I'll do first of all is I'll start by saving this. So let's save that. Okay, and then what we've got to do is we've got, oh, I've made a mistake there. Django models has no attribute char field. Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I did. What line is that? These should all be capital F's. Rookie mistake. There we are. So that should save correctly now. Yes, it has. Okay, identified one issue, but it's silenced. Okay, so the issue really is that we haven't installed Pillow. So it's actually telling us that we need another, what do you call it? Let's cancel that. We need another library to deal with the fact that we're going to deal with images. So it's actually telling me as well. It says python m pip install Pillow. Let's try that. Let's try python -m install Pillow. So as you can see, I closed the web server. I shut that by pushing Control C, and now inside my virtual environment, oh my bad, maybe I should just type in, oh I didn't pip, that's why. Pip install Pillow. So now inside my virtual environment, it will install this library for Pillow, which enables us to deal with images inside our program as well. Okay. Actually, before I forget, I do need another field, so I'm gonna have to add a IMDb. What should we call this? IMDb reference. Okay, so this is going to be a character field again. So models dot char field, and then max length. This is what I think 20 characters or something like that. Max length underscore equals, let's say 20 characters. Okay, because if you remember what we did in our APIs lesson, in our libraries lesson, what we did was we used an IMDb API to call information from the Internet Movie Database. And if you haven't watched that, that will be linked below in the video as well. So let me save that. Okay, and then our next thing is we've got to do something called migrations. Okay, so basically what we've done is in our models, we've created this model. So we've created this template that Django will then turn into an SQL table. Okay, so basically these classes, all right, these are as what Django does with these, it takes it converts it into an SQL table. Okay, but then each time we create a record, okay, that becomes a class object that we can refer to as an individual object. Okay, so to do that, and I always forget which way around this goes, I think we start with Python. No, we don't start Python. Yeah, Python manage.py, and we say make migrations. Oops. Okay, now what this has done is this has recognized that inside the reviews app here, there's a migration that needs to happen, and it's seen that there's a model to create. Okay, so we've done that. Now what we want to do is we want to finalize that. Okay, so we then go to there again, we say python.manage.py, and we say migrate. Okay, so now this has done it. Now, as you can see, this wasn't there before. I should have highlighted that, sorry. This particular file here, the SQL table, the SQL database, that wasn't there, and we've just created that now. So by doing this now, Python has taken this model here, this class, and it's converted that into an SQL database that sort of lives within this ecosystem now. So now we can start creating some reviews, and to do that we're going to have to do one other thing. I'll show you what it is in a second. Let's do this. If you remember, let's run our server, manage.py, run server. Okay, so now we've got our server running again, and I can refresh the page, and that's fine. If you remember, what we did was we talked about the fact that Django has a built-in admin page, but the problem is I can't log in at the moment because I'm working on my Django website, but I haven't created an admin user yet, or any other user, so I can't log into it. So I can't really manage the back end. So now this is a really powerful part of Django, because there's so much we can do here. So I'm gonna come out of that again. So I'm gonna push Control C and cancel the web server. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create an admin user. Okay. So to do that, we're gonna call on Python again. Python manage.py. And if you remember, I told you at the beginning that manage.py file here somewhere, where is it? It's in there somewhere. There it is. It just has a whole bunch of commands and stuff, so we're calling on that now. We're calling on that Python file, and we want it to create super user. So let's give it a name. All right, I'm going to call my user Mr. Muller, and my email address is going to be Mr. Muller at something.com. It doesn't have to be serious. It's not going to email anything out to my email at the moment, so it doesn't matter. And then let's create a password. Obviously I'm going to create a nice the usual password I use, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's not true. Okay, I'm going to do it again, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and it's telling me that it's too common. All right, it's entirely numeric. Should I bypass validation and create a new user anyway? Yes, because I don't really care about the fact that it's not a safe password. I wouldn't really use that in real life. Don't try it. So now I've done that. Okay, let's run our server again. So let's go up, run our server. Yep, our server's running. So now let's try that. I said my user was Mr. Muller, and it was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Boom. All right, so cool. So now we're in the back end of that Django website that we've created. Okay, now there's no groups at the moment. Okay, so these are just the users, and obviously I can add new users now. I can click on that. I can add a new username, give them a password and stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't show email here, doesn't matter. And what's the other thing I could do? There's groups. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about groups either right now. Now what's missing is that table, because I want to be able to fill out some records here. Okay, so I need that to appear here. So to do that, let's go back to our Django setup, our atom. Right, so what I'm going to do is on the admin file, which we haven't looked at yet. Okay, what we want to do is we want to say from this particular folder, so this folder of reviews here, because we're in this directory, what we're going to say is import, and we're going to say what our table is. So we're going to say from, oh sorry, not model, from import, we're going to say from the models file, import, I believe it was reviews, but let's double check. So from our models file here, which is where our table design is, we want to import reviews. So we go back to there. So we're saying from that, import reviews. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we want to register that with the admin site. So we want to register it with admin.register, and what we're registering is reviews. Oops. Okay. I think that's us started, done. So let's go back to here and let's refresh the page. Cool. Okay. Okay. Look. That's cool. Because it's plural, it sort of it adds an S on the end, which we can fix that later, but it's not a big deal. So now if I go to add reviews, I get to add one of the reviews that we're then going to start using to populate our site with. So the author, in this case, the person writing this critique is me. I'm saying Mr. Muller. Alright, the title is, we're going to go for one of the best films ever made, Back to the Future. If you've never watched this, first of all, you need to get a life, and then you need to go and watch it. Alright, our publish date is today, because we're publishing our review today. The time is now. The image file, oh sugar, don't want to do that? No, I'm not going to upload an image. Alright, I'm just going to talk about the film, so I'm going to say this was an outstanding film, blah 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 blah. Blah, blah. Okay, I've had fun doing that. And then that what I need is I need a reference from IMDb. So let's spring up to action here and let's go imdb.com, and I'm going to pull a lot of stuff out from here. So let's go what was it? Back to the Future. Cool, the one and only 1985. Okay, and I need the reference to this. Okay, so if you remember when we did it for our do they have it written down somewhere else? They don't. I don't think they do, but I know it's here in the address bar. Okay, so what we need is we need that reference. That's our address. That's our reference. So I'm going to copy that. Copy that. Let's go back to our admin page, and we put that in there, and then we save it. Oh sugar! I need to have that. Damn. Okay, cool. So I've made a bit of a mistake, and I think what I'm going to do is if I go back to here and I go to models. Okay, so having thought about this, I've decided maybe I don't need an image file folder, because we're going to pull the image directly from the internet, and we probably don't need to save it on our server. So actually I'm going to get rid of that, because then it's not going to require me to save the picture, and then I don't have to muck around with creating a folder to save them into as well, which is another faff if you're not sure how to do it. Ideally we should, but we won't. Okay, so actually we'll leave it like that, and so now I'm going to save that, and I've got to make the changes, because obviously now I've got to cancel that, and I've got to say we're going to make migrations. Okay, and it's seen that there's a change. Okay, so it's seen that on that table there in that class I've removed the field image from reviews. That's cool. And the other one we're going to do is migrate. So let's carry that change out. So what it's done now is it's taken that change and it's finalized it inside that SQL database table that is created for me. So now if I go back here, obviously, you know, I don't want to type that all that again, because that was like a really in-depth review of what a great film it is here. So I'm copying that. I'm going to refresh that. Forget the fact that it's not, hold on. Oh no, okay, rookie mistake. Because I didn't run the server. Let's run the server again. Now, I should still be logged in. I am. Excellent. Let's just paste that in. And as you can see, the thing is gone. The, what do you call it? The image requirement is gone. What was it again? Author is Mr. Muller, and the title was Back to the Future. Cool. And then thankfully it's got that there. So now I can save that. Boom, save. So our first one is saved. Okay, so if you remember when I was talking to you about this and saying string, so this first string function here, so this function within our class returns the title. Now if I was to remove that, so if I was to do boom boom boom, and let's comment it out and let's save it. Okay, now what should happen is when I refresh the page, you're going to see that it's just an object. So this is basically object one. So think of it like this, yeah, we've created this table. Okay, it's a class, and you know that you know, when we play with classes, we create instances of a class. Okay, so basically this is, in other words, this is an instance of that class. It's an object. And what this function was doing here was this string function was returning the name of that function, the title, or sorry, of the object, which I'll save again, which is what was appearing here under reviews, under the title. There we are. So that's back as well. Okay, so there's a few more things we're going to do, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to populate maybe 5 or 6 different reviews as well. Just add some more in, because we then want to do what do you call it? We want to get back to the HTML side of things.